golden hour melts into indigo over the Hollywood hills, and the letters on that legendary mount glow like molten iron fresh from the forge. Down on Sunset, marquees sputter awake, fluorescent bravado battling the last blush of day as tourists crane phones toward palm-lined skies. A helicopter whirs overhead like a restless camera dolly, and somewhere behind a studio wall, a stunt coordinator's megaphone cracks the dusk with a single word: action. A hushed narrator answers, voice low and conspiratorial. They told these men to trade fists for photo ops, to store their heroics in mothballs and sell us nostalgia instead of nerve. They refused. Instead, they relaced their combat boots, iced their bruises, and whispered, "Cue the next explosion." In this town, birthdays can feel like verdicts. A new wrinkle sparks blog headlines. A stiff gait triggers rumors of the last sequel. Cinema built on kinetic bravado is supposed to belong to the under-40 crowd. Sinewy starlets flipping through CGI fire. Fresh-faced leading men sprinting up green-screen skyscrapers. But tonight's legends smash the hourglass, scattering its glass shards across every red carpet they stride. They are iron-willed outliers who refuse the rocking chair, men who still sprint through pyrotechnic halls wearing spinal braces hidden under flak vests, whose training montages start before sunrise and finish after the grips have gone home. Their hearts beat like metronomes set to 120 beats per minute, and each thump is a reminder that age may script new limitations, yet discipline edits the final draft. We'll slip past velvet ropes into their midnight gyms, eavesdrop on physio rooms where scar tissue maps past glories, and trail them onto sets where heat, grit, and gaffer tape hold miracles together. We'll uncover why adrenalized storytelling becomes more potent when filtered through decades of joy, grief, and scar-forged perspective. How every grunt, every sigh, laced between punches, carries a lifetime's worth of subtext. So silence your phone, tighten your seatbelt, and let the stadium lights dim, because while Hollywood keeps searching for tomorrow's messiahs, the elder titans have already loaded fresh mags, choreographed new showdowns, and penciled today into legend. The reel spins, the projector hums, and the ageless warriors step once more into the frame, ready to prove that courage, like film grain, only gets richer with time. Liam Neeson's resume once read like a professor's bookshelf. Excalibur, The Mission, Schindler's List, films powered by moral thunder rather than muzzle flash. Yet the soft-spoken Irishman with the towering 6'4" silhouette stumbled into action superstardom by accident. One script, Taken, sat on his kitchen table in 2007, pitched as a B-grade revenge flick. Liam took the role for a free trip to Paris. 24 hours after the trailer hit the internet, he woke up a global symbol of righteous fury. What fascinates casting directors isn't just the physicality, a frame that can still crack a door with a single shoulder, but the aching humanity he weaves between bullets. In memory, his hitman Alex Lewis catalogs names on Post-its to fight Alzheimer's while dismantling a child trafficking ring. Liam confessed to reporters in Dublin that he crafted the character after watching a lifelong friend fumble sentences at the pub. That vulnerability seeps into every reload, every glare. At 71, his knees click like castanets. So he budgets each stunt with the precision of a chess grandmaster, 3 hours stretching, 2 hours choreography, then ice baths that feel like surfing the North Atlantic in January. Rumors swirl that he'll hang up the pistol after 2025's Hotel Tran. Yet insiders whisper 2 more screenplays sit on his nightstand. Liam simply smiles. When the story calls, I answer. Until then, pass the Epsom salts. Long before keyboards conjured Chuck Norris jokes about roundhouse kicking the moon in half, Carlos Ray Chuck Norris earned his legend in dusty gyms with no AC and no excuses. Stationed at Osan Air Base in South Korea, he studied Tang Soo Do under Grandmaster Jae Chul Shin, rising before Reveille to practice spin kicks on frozen football fields. By 1966, he'd racked up more martial arts titles than opponents left willing to face him. Steve McQueen's nudge, "The camera will love you, kid," pulled Chuck into acting, but the road was rocky. Wooden line deliveries, budgets smaller than a dojo's rent, and fight scenes staged in single takes to save film stock. He kept refining, filming his sparring sessions and studying them frame by frame. The result? 1984's Missing in Action exploded overseas, drawing real Vietnam veterans who thanked him for bringing us home, even if only on screen. Today, at 85, Chuck still wakes at 5 a.m. for a 9-exercise circuit. Kettlebell flows, battle ropes, incline push-ups, and shadow sparring under Texas sunrise. He credits his vitality to 3 saboteurs he identified: processed sugar, chronic stress, and ego, and a nightly elixir of turmeric, collagen peptides, and gratitude journaling. Grandkids film his workout reels. TikTok labels him the OG fitness influencer. Yet his mission remains bigger, hosting free self-defense clinics for women and donating Walker Texas Ranger royalties to youth centers across rural America. Heroes, he says, are measured by the lives they strengthen, not the villains they beat. Picture 1975, a near-penniless Sylvester Stallone watching Muhammad Ali battle Joe Frazier. Fury sparks. He sprints home, bangs out the Rocky screenplay in 3 days, refuses to sell it unless he plays the lead, and pawns his bull mastiff Butkus for grocery money. Less than 2 years later, Dog and Dream reunited. Sly jogs up the Philadelphia Art Museum steps as Bill Conti's horns swell, cinema's rawest hymn to tenacity. Fast forward to 2025. Stallone's trophy case groans under awards, but complacency scares him more than Clubber Lang ever did. Every dawn in Beverly Hills, he straps 40 pounds of resistance bands around aging joints and lunges up his driveway, chanting scene numbers from upcoming shoots. He founded Balboa Productions to bankroll fresh blood, young directors with grindhouse energy, and to keep himself front and center. The Expendables saga marches to film 4, and Previs boards for a cliffhanger sequel plaster his garage walls. Between takes, he FaceTimes combat vets, credits them for inspiring Rambo's evolution from jaded drifter to PTSD advocate. He's auctioning signed boxing gloves for mental health charities and writing a memoir that, he jokes, weighs more than Adrian's Thanksgiving turkey. At 78, Stallone's battle cry echoes louder. Your greatest round is always the one you haven't fought yet. Arnold Alois Schwarzenegger's journey began in post-war Austria, where teenage Arnold stapled bodybuilder icons over his bedroom window to block out the factory his father insisted he work in. 57 contests and 7 Mr. Olympia titles later, he barged into Hollywood offices pronouncing, "I will be your next star," while executives mocked his accent. He proved them wrong with a single word: chrome. In Conan the Barbarian, then hardwired pop culture with I'll Be Back. Governor, philanthropist, climate activist, and donkey rescue enthusiast, Arnold inhabits more versions of himself than any sci-fi twist. Yet action remains his native tongue. Training involves high-volume supersets, farmers' walks along Santa Monica Pier, and 6 a.m., cycling with firefighters half his age. For the Expendables 5, he demanded wire-free helicopter hangs, telling the stunt crew, the audience can smell fake from a mile away. His Netflix hit FUBAR blends spy capers with paternal comedy, mirroring his real-life bond with daughters Christina and Catherine. And while political pundits beg him to run for office again, Arnold quips, "I'm too busy defeating bad guys, both on screen and in the atmosphere." At 77, he posts daily pump tips: eat rainbow veggies, deadlift responsibly, and remember humor is the best pre-workout. Harrison Ford speaks in deliberate syllables, a carpenter's patience still soldered into his DNA. He built stage doors for George Lucas before Lucas handed him Han Solo's blaster. Stardom followed, but Ford never shed his blue-collar stubbornness. During Raiders of the Lost Ark, he swapped heatstroke relief for a whip-cracking improv that birthed the famous sword-shooting gag. Injuries became badges. Torn ACL in Temple of Doom, collarbone fracture while rehearsing plane crashes for The Fugitive, hydraulic door slam on The Force Awakens set. Each setback met with stoic wit. Physical therapy sessions double as script read-throughs. The man cannot sit still. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny demanded horseback chases across Moroccan deserts. Ford, 81 at the time, refused a stunt double. Production medic Kevin Hodge later revealed he outran crewmates 50 years younger twice. His latest frontier lies in the MCU, where motion capture sensors record every nuance of General Ross morphing into the Viridian behemoth Red Hulk. Offset, Ford pilots his de Havilland Beaver over Wyoming forests, volunteering with Conservation International. Action, he says, isn't a genre, it's a stewardship of land, legacy, and sometimes the box office. Jackie Chan's life is a heart rate monitor stuck at maximum tilt. Enrolled at the Peking Opera School at age 7, he endured 12-hour regimens of backflips, piano scales, and spear forms, sleeping on wooden planks as punishment for missing a beat. That forge produced an artist who paints with momentum, turning ladders, umbrellas, and street signs into choreography partners. When Hollywood first tried to commodify him in the Cannonball Run, Jackie felt neutered. Furious, he retreated to Hong Kong and shot Police Story, a film that saw him slide down an electrified pole through exploding bulbs, real glass shredding his hands. The sequence is still studied in stunt academies as a masterclass in controlled danger. Now 71, Jackie records every rehearsal with drones, dissecting timing like a watchmaker. His NGO, Dragon's Heart, builds schools in remote Chinese villages. He auctions prop relics to fund scholarships for stunt performers' kids. And he still sings the closing credit songs to most of his movies, because why not conquer one more medium? Every rap party ends with him bowing, palms pressed, urging the crew to teach rather than imitate. If you try to be the next Jackie Chan, he laughs. You'll break every bone and still be second place. Be the first you. Pierce Brosnan's childhood unfolded on Irish cliffs, where mist tasted like salt and possibility. When James Bond producer Cubby Broccoli first spotted him on Remington Steele, destiny seemed sealed, but NBC's contract shackles delayed his 007 debut by 9 agonizing years. Perhaps that wait distilled his charm. By the time GoldenEye hit screens, he oozed danger and tenderness in a single raised eyebrow. Post-Bond life could have been a gilded cage. Instead, Brosnan tore down genre walls. Rom-com widower, Mamma Mia. Spectre-haunted artist, the Ghostwriter. Silver-Mane superhero, Black Adam. A dedicated painter, he carries watercolors on location, capturing sunsets between explosions. He also campaigns for ocean cleanup, scuba dives with marine biologists, and sells his art for UNICEF auctions. Morning routine at his Kauai estate. 15 minutes pranayama, cold water plunge beneath a waterfall, and resistance band shadowboxing atop volcanic rock. He claims that aging is the universe's way of polishing a gemstone. At 72, the gem keeps catching new light. Spend a day trailing these men, and an invisible pattern emerges, a quiet creed stitched into every movement. First comes purpose, torn ligaments, aching backs, and the endless hiss of ice packs are accepted tolls because each believes a story well told can outlive pain. Discipline follows close behind. Dawn finds Liam drilling dialogue between stretches, Arnold pedaling along fog-soaked beach roads, and Jackie sketching stunt geometry before most of the city's alarms ring. Rituals so ingrained they feel like breathing. Yet even the fiercest lone wolf recognizes strength doubles when it is shared. On set, Brosnan offers a rookie extra tips on camera angles. Stallone bankrolls an indie filmmaker's first fight scene. Chuck runs free self-defense classes for anyone who shows up with curiosity and bare feet. Evolution is their fourth commandment. They leap from giant screens to streaming series, slip into voice-over booths, dabble in VR cameos, never clinging to a single format, always chasing the fresh terrain where adrenaline meets audience, and, perhaps most telling, service threads through everything like steel cable. Royalties funnel into veteran hotlines, orphanages, conservation flights over shrinking forests. They have discovered that the surest way to keep a warrior's heart alive is to wield it on behalf of someone who can't yet fight for themselves. Woven together, these 5 instincts, purpose over pain, ritual as armor, mentorship as force multiplier, constant reinvention, and service as the ultimate flex, form the silent oath that lets them stride onto set, gray at the temples and fire in the eyes, ready to prove that longevity is less about how many years you survive than how fiercely you choose to burn through every single one. A hush settles over the backlot. Smoke from spent squibs drifts across cracked asphalt, catching moonlight like ghostly confetti. 7 silhouettes, limbs bandaged, eyes ablaze, amble toward the craft services trailer, trading jokes sharper than Bowie knives. Look closer. Every limp tells the story of a ligament sacrificed to earn a perfect take. Every laugh lines their faces with the knowledge that if pain is rent, purpose is profit. For half a century, they've outrun lava flows, leapt from rotor blades, and faced box office wipeouts that would have sunk lesser mortals. They've buried co-stars, nursed torn tendons, and watched their genres mutate from practical squibs to digital plasma. Yet, they adapt, because relevance is a muscle, and these men refuse to let it atrophy. Critics tally gray hairs as though follicles were forecasters, whispering that each premiere might be the last. And still, cue the lens flare, roll the thunderous score, and there they are, chalking calloused hands, resetting crash mats, refusing stunt doubles, rewriting exit strategies into encore arcs. Harrison pilots vintage planes between takes. Stallone storyboards franchises in his sleep. Jackie Chan finishes a 20-foot fall, then checks lighting continuity before the crew can catch its breath. But their greatest stunt is off-screen. They funnel salaries into charity gyms, veteran hotlines, climate labs, orphanages. They mentor the next generation, teaching that a perfectly timed punch means nothing if your word isn't ironclad. They've realized immortality isn't carved on marble plaques. It's stitched into every soul their example fortifies. So when the final clapperboard of their careers does snap shut, be it tomorrow or 20 pictures from now, audiences will recall more than adrenalized set pieces. We'll remember how they made aging look less like erosion and more like tempering steel, how they turned experience into a superpower grander than any CGI glow. Until then, the Klieg lights still burn, the call sheets still bear their names, and the roar of engines warming for another chase scene crackles through the night. Legends, it seems, don't fade to black. They punch straight through the credits, stride off the screen, and challenge us all to meet them at dawn for the next impossible take.